Panel of distinguished adjudicators, debaters, coaches, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all present today. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Muhammad Fairuz bin Muhammad Ghazali, the floor manager and chairperson of today's competition. Our timekeeper today will be Miss Leona Dial. Welcome to the final round of Sabah State Level 2022 Tan Sri Datuk Sri Panglima Dr. Abdul Rahman Arshad Challenge Trophy English Language Debate Competition. The motion for today's debate is, this House would legalize the sale of human organs. First, allow me to introduce to you our panel of distinguished adjudicators for today's debate. First up, we have our Chief Adjudicator, Mr. Alvin Chan Seng Chai from PPD Pensiangan. Our next judge is Madam Coretta Maria G. Mojugit from PPD Kota Kinabalu. Next, we have Madam Ung Yi Shin from PPD Sandakan. Our next judge is Madam Anutra Sirisena from PPD Tenom. Next, we have Mr. Jenedy Pungawan from PPD Kota Marudu. Madam Dayang Dewi Haikal Awang Tusof from PPD Kinabatangan. Madam Teo Shan Mui from PPD Penampang. Madam Nancy Ligging from PPD Tambunan. And last but not least, Madam Audrey Chan Jin Wei from PPD Kudat. The timer will be used during this debate, so do pay attention to the timer displayed during the competition. Please be aware of the fact that the first, second, and third speakers of each team are given 8 minutes to speak. The timer will be rung once. The timer will be rung once right after the first minute and at the end of the 7th minute to signal the time allocated for each speaker. At the end of the 8th minute, the bell will be rung twice. A maximum time of 3 minutes will be given to both teams to prepare for the reply speech. The time allocated for the reply speech is 4 minutes. During the reply speech, the timer will be rung once at the 3rd minute to signal that the speaker has 1 minute left. At the end of the 4th minute, the bell will be rung twice to signal the end of the time allocated for the reply speech. The two PPDs in today's debate are PPD Kota Blut with debaters from SMK Narinang, SMK Arshad, SMK Pekan 2, which is the government team, and PPD Keningau, represented by SMK Sok, which is the opposition team. Let me now introduce the debaters to you. On my right, from the government, representing PPD Kota Blut, the Prime Minister, Jun Jayumi Jimmy. Our second, the Deputy Minister, Ivory Genuine Victor. And the third Minister, Dura Khadijah binti Rajali. The reserves for the team, Ms. Jill Justin and Vivrilincia Jakimin. On my left, from the opposition, representing PPD Keningau, are the opposition leader, Nur Faiz Kashfi Jusid bin Ensing. The second opposition speaker, Nur Hidayah binti Abdullah. And third opposition speaker, Melsefrenia Redica Melancholico. The reserves are Hazelrina Romeo and Petrina Denicol Liu. Before we proceed, I would like to remind the speakers of both teams of some rules and guidelines to observe in the course of the debate. Each debater's substantive speech is marked out of 100 with 40 for content, 40 for style, and 20 for strategy. The reply speech is marked out of 50 with 20 for content, 20 for style, and 10 for strategy. The government must present a reasonable definition of a motion. In all cases, the team that manages to provide reasons as to why their definition and cases are the most reasonable, practical, and beneficial shall win the debate. If a debater claims that a definition is or a case is unreasonable, then they should state reasons to support that claim. Adjudicators should balance reasons and rebuttals in determining which team shall win. The first debater of a government is to define the topic, establish the issues of the debate, outline the government case, announce the case division between the debaters, and present his or her part of the government case. As for the first debater of an opposition side is to respond to the government case, outline the opposition case, announce the case division, and present his or her part of the opposition case. Do take note that the first opposition may challenge the definition and must propose a new definition. The second debater of the government is to deal with the definition if it has been challenged, respond to the opposition case, and continue with the government case as outlined by the first debater. If the second government does not challenge a redefinition of the debate by the first opposition, the government is taken to have accepted the opposition redefinition and no further challenges to the definition may be made. The role of the second debater of an opposition is to deal with the definition if it is still an issue, respond to the government case, and continue with the opposition case as outlined by the first debater. Both third debaters may deal with the definition if it is still in issue, and respond to the other team case. The third debater should not bring new arguments, new examples to explain points that were made previously or to explain a rebuttal is not considered a new argument. The role of the reply speeches is to sum up the debate from the team viewpoint, including a response to the other team overall case and a summary of the debater's own team case, which will be performed by the first or second debater of the team. While the speaker is speaking, the opposing team can offer points of information, or POI, between the first and 7th minute. The purpose of a point of information is to make short point or ask a short question of the debater. A POI should be brief and no longer than 15 seconds. As a general rule, a debater should accept at least 2 points of information in his or her speech. No point of information may be offered during the reply speech. I would like to remind everyone in this August House of Parliament to switch off the mic and camera as not to interrupt the course of today's debate. Without further ado, I call upon the Prime Minister from the government, Ms. June Jayumijimi, to deliver her speech on today's motion. This House would legalize the sale of human organs. Please welcome.
Greetings, Chairperson, honorable adjudicators, wise timekeepers, opponents, my teammates, and members of the floor. We, the government team, concur with the motion given today, which is this House would legalize the sale of human organs. I am June, the Prime Minister of the government team. My second in command, I believe, will rebut the claims given by side opposition and present 2 more points from our team. Last but definitely not least, our fighter Dura will then clear the confusion of side opposition and reaffirm our team stand. As the Prime Minister of side government, I will present you with a definition, our team stand, and a mechanism to tell you that organ selling market is possible, and that and I will also explain to you our arguments as to why organ selling should be legalized. Now, our definition of today's motion is legal. By starting from the key points, legalize means to make something that was previously illegal permissible by law. Organ selling means the trading of human organs, tissues, or other body products, usually for transplantation. Now, we redefine the motion as we should make the trading of human organs, tissues, or other body products permissible by law. Now, we as the government will be talking about how and why this motion should be accepted. How? We will provide you with a mechanism, and why? We will tell you its benefits and importance. Our stand as the government is that we are doing this to protect the lives of our people. Now, our first point is a legal, regulated organ market would not only save lives, it would also disincentivize individuals from turning to the often medically unsound and violent black market. For the organ patients, a legal market by making a legal market exist, it would prevent desperate patients or family members from paying thousands of dollars more to the black market.
Point of information.
Yes,
Number one, do you agree human's dignity is important than money? Number two, will this law you're proposing will actually work?
thank you for the POI. I will get to that later. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the organ patients, as I said before, the black markets will only sell these organs to them in a more expensive price compared to a legal market, which is why we should make the market of where organs will be sold legal so that the prices will be reasonable. The supply of organs will also double if the selling of organs is legalized, because now we already have organs that are donated, and now we have organs from sellers. Now, the wait for a life-saving organ is not only a financial loss, ladies and gentlemen, it takes a toll on the patients, not only financially but also to their mental health, and the wait is a painful, invasive, and very sad process. Now, for the donors, ladies and gentlemen, we know we should be aware that organ selling is already happening. It has happened and will continue to happen. But right now, as we know, it happens illegally because it has not been legalized yet.
Point of information.
And where this is happening, rejected. And where this is happening is in the black market, because that is where they can sell these organs. Now, the ones that are usually going to do this is those who are poor. If you say that we are exploiting those who are poor and are desperate for money, you are wrong. Because you see right now, these people are already selling their organs for the monetary compensation in black markets. And they do this illegally as the black market. Now, the black market, ladies and gentlemen, they do not care about the well-being of these people. The medical procedures of black markets are not as good as the medical procedures that are done by legal firms like the government. They wouldn't care about that. Just like the R&B singer Kimberly Michelle Pate, who said that she's had 4 surgeries to remove botched black market silicone butt injections. And doesn't this already show us the risks of going to the black market for anything that's related to medical procedures? In the black market, ladies and gentlemen, they do not care about you. However, if we legalize organ selling, people wouldn't have to turn to black markets. We can prevent these improper treatments.
Point of information.
Yes.
If legalizing the sales of human organs is allowed, will the price be low or high?
Can you repeat that?
If legalizing the sales of human organs is allowed, will the price be low or high?
Thank you for that. Now, for this, ladies and gentlemen, my second speaker will elaborate more on this one. Now, to answer our sir's respective POI before, the process is neither undignified or precedented because our law comes with the regulations and conditions. And yes, we believe that this will work. That is to answer our respective opponent's first POI. About his second POI, our second speaker will elaborate more about that. Now, as the government, we will provide a service for those that will donate their organs, a better service. And as for those that donated their vital organs and thus died, their family will be compensated properly and funeral expenses will also be covered. Now, once again, we are not rejected. We are not forcing poor people to sell their organs. No one forced them. It's a choice. But would you rather they come to the black market instead, where you know they obviously wouldn't be treated right? Even if we tell these poor people not to sell your organs, they will sell their organs anyway for money. If you want this issue to stop, then you have to stop poverty. But that's an entirely new other issue. Now, at least by legalizing organ selling, what happens if they turn to the medically unsound and unfair black market wouldn't happen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, by legalizing organ selling in the first place, this opens up more options to prevent corruption that happens in the legal. Because as the government, we acknowledge the reality that corruption is bound to happen in the organ selling market. But we also acknowledge the demand for organ transplant supply because we care about the people. We're not just going to let them die. This brings us to our next mechanism. Through legalizing organ selling, ladies and gentlemen, we can now place policies and laws. We are well aware of the corruption. Now, we will do policies like we will implement anti-corruption systems, units, and policies like transparency, thorough corruption report investigations of integrity of employee reports and such. This is our mechanism. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we as the government also acknowledge the reality of the gap of the rich and also the poor. The rich are obviously the ones that are going to benefit the most out of the system because they can afford these organs. What about the poor ones? We have a mechanism to solve this problem. If they are poor, then they will receive donated organs. As for the rich, they will buy the organs because they can afford it. Right now, the competition to get donated organs is high because both the poor and the rich are in the waiting list. But now the rich would buy the sold organs, while the poor, mostly the poor, would receive the donated organs. Now, if that's not enough, we know that charities exist. There are charities that collect money. We can do charities. The government can provide insurances and incentives to a certain extent. And with this mechanism, ladies and gentlemen, we can save more lives because we can help the poor people to afford the sold organs if the donations are not enough. Now, as we have elaborated, we have provided a mechanism that proves how the legalization of organ selling can be made possible in the first place. We have also stated one of the benefits of what we are doing, of how what we are doing protects the lives of our people. It protects donors, more patients can be saved, and it also protects our society from the dangerous black market. With that, we, the government, are proud to propose. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. June.
The time taken by Miss June Jaime is 9 minutes and 18 seconds.
Okay, let's proceed, Madam Chair. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
I shall now invite Mr. Nofaiz Kashfi Yusuf bin Ensing as the opposition leader to deliver his speech.
Test, am I audible?
Loud and clear.
Okay, I will start. 1, 2, 3. Being a human is given. Keeping our humanity is a choice. But the moment you stop treating people like people, that's the moment you lose humanity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And a very good morning, I bid, to the honorable panel of judges, the precise timekeeper, great opponents on the side of the government, phenomenal comrades on the side of the opposition, and not to forget members of this beautiful house. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do two things today. First, I'm going to rebut whatever case has been brought up by the first speaker, from the government or the president from the government side. Secondly, I'm going to provide the argument from the opposition. Now, let's look the definition provided by the government. She basically stated the little definition of keyword phrases, but what she failed to do is that she failed to characterize the status quo of the important key phrase on today's motion, which is sale of human organs. I'm going to do that today. We, as the opposition, define the sale of human organs as selling organs for the sake of monetary incentives. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what is the stance of opposition today? I will tell you that our stance is crystal clear. We believe that humans' dignity is more valuable than money. In order for their side to win today, they need to prove to us why legalizing the selling of human organs is a good idea, and why we can't focus on the dignity of a human being. Moving on to my next task. I'm going to signpost my team structure. What will I do today? What will my comrades do today? I said earlier what I will do. Let me repeat it again and make it clearer. Number one, I'm going to provide an argument under the key phrase of humans' dignity and ethics, and rebut the arguments made by the president on the government side. Second, my phenomenal second speaker will provide two new arguments opposing today's motion, not forgetting that she will rebut the arguments made by the second government speaker. Third, my quick-witted whip or third speaker will stand up and rebut all of the unsure arguments made by the government. Moving on, let's go to my rebuttals from the first government speaker. What she speaks in her speech is simple. First, I would like to ask, why donate if you can sell? Because they are trying to agree with us. Today's motion, they are supposed to agree that this house would legalize the sale of human organs. That is meant by you need to sell it, not donate. I think they are helping us, so thank you very much, government. Because she said we must donate. Maybe she agree with us, the opposition side. Decline for now. On regarding the prices, who is eligible for selling their organ? This is for the government to answer. Who is eligible for selling their organ? Who will pay for the seller? Who will dictate the price? How reasonable will it be? Will you give up your organ for a margin of $10,000? No, you will want more expensive value if regulated prices are cheaper. Black market that offer greater pay for organ will still be rampant for those not medically fit to sell organ
QI,
but
please.
are desperate for money. I think I need to know what they want. Yes.
We never said anything about how regulated prices are cheaper. Please clarify.
Yes, but you need to understand that when you are saying you need to donate, that you didn't say that you need to sell. You not because you are trying to help us, and we are still confused whether you are agreeing with the motion or opposing to the motion. Then that's also proof that why we as the opposition team should win today's debate. Declined. Enough of the rebuttals. Let's move on to my argument. Humans' dignity and ethics. Before I continue, let's look at my analysis. First, what is human dignity? Human dignity is the recognition that human being possesses a special value intrinsic to their humanity, and as such are worthy of respect simply because they are human beings. I repeat, simply because they are human beings. Second, did you know that prices on organs can be inflated to hundreds of thousands of dollars, according to the World Health Organization? Estimated US average, the total treatment charges for transplants are like this. Heart transplant costs $997,700. And if you want to buy a heart, you need at least $119,000. The price are also high when it includes human organs. Yes.
Right now, you're stating the prices for these organs in the U.S., but you haven't stated a liable source, an article, or whatever study for this claim. Please clarify.
Maybe she didn't really maybe she didn't understand what I'm trying to say, because I clearly stated it's from the World Health Organization. And maybe they are trying to manipulate our minds right now, but let me continue. Ladies and gentlemen, with that in mind, I hope everyone in this beautiful house knows how much an organ and a transplant costs. Third, what is ethics? It is based on well-founded standards on what's right and what's wrong that prescribe what humans ought to do. Moving on. So, how is humans' dignity and ethics linked with today's motion? How? Here's the deal. When people know the disadvantages that could happen and the harmful side of it, will people notice? Yes. How? We want our old mistake won't happen again. What is our old mistake? Slavery, discrimination, superiority caste, and segregation between the rich and the poor, the empowered and the powerless. In 1965, slavery stopped. But what is the connection? The doppelganger of slavery will happen. Because of what? Because people can now harvest organs having a mentality that it's like harvesting wheat. We don't want this happen again. This will also give a result that humans' dignity and ethics will diminish enormously. Not a little, but enormously. That is the sad thing that happened. Before I end my speech, I have one thing to say. Let's be realistic, not idealistic. And I'm debating because we know the importance of a human's dignity and ethics. I repeat, I'm debating because we know the importance of humans' dignity and ethics. We are also opposing today's motion because the government is proposing and giving should not be accepted. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Novais.
The time taken by Mr. Noor Faiz is 7 minutes and 55 seconds.
Mr. Chair, okay, please proceed. Thank you.
I now call upon the Deputy Prime Minister, Ms. Ivory Genuine Victor, to deliver her speech.
Am I audible?
Loud and clear.
All right, I will begin in 3, 2, 1. Greetings to all. We are assembled here today with one common motive, which is to debate about today's motion that is, this House would legalize the sale of human organs. We, the government, completely agree with this motion. Ladies and gentlemen, the negatives, in their misguided view of the motion, have refused to acknowledge the very apparent flaws in their arguments. Today, as I stand here, I found some major flaws in the negatives. The first speaker from the negative have mentioned human dignity and ethics. Tell that to the people who already sold their organs illegally thanks to the status quo that they, the opposition, want to protect so bad. Who is eligible for it? That is within the perimeter of our mechanism that they agreed with. Every potential donor will be tested like every other medical practice that includes transplants. We are not forcing them to donate. And by persevering dignity, do you mean we should let people die because of pride, ego? Feelings don't matter when it comes to lives. Ladies and gentlemen, they have misunderstood the motion. We are not excluding donation, we are just legalizing the sale of human organs. Both still exist in our mechanism that we stated and that they have agreed with. Members of the House, our second point is we cannot rely on altruism alone. Selling organs for profit will help with this issue because it would not constitute an unprecedented medical or social practice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I mean by this is that we acknowledge the supply for organs from donations that we face. Selling them will not constitute an unprecedented medical practice or social practice because this is not the first time we are doing something of this category. Surrogacy, unlike the other common practices that fall into the same alignment as organ selling. Moving on, according to dermagorgon.gov, a Malaysian-run site that provides statistics for the people who pledge to be organ donors, state that by April 2022, there are over 500,000 people who are under this pledge, and only a little over 10,000 require these organs. Now, isn't this convenient?
Point of information.
Yes?
You want to become like Iran? Please acknowledge that there is organ cell in there and what happened in there. Can you please
Yes,
clarify?
yes, thriving. Thank you for your POI. I will continue. There are enough of organs to go around, Shirley. Right. Wrong. Only 2.6K people received the organ transplants that they needed. Members of the floor, only 25% of people who needed these organs received them. Then how about the remaining 75%? They can surely wait, right? They will remain in a state of dialysis and will surely be fine, right? Wrong. These unfortunate people will only suffer the fate of having to experience their condition worsen, and they will eventually and inevitably no longer be eligible candidates for the organ transplants that they were promised. But legalizing organ sales decreases the rates of this happening. We will double the supply of organs and will be able to protect and ensure the well-being of every single patient that promptly needs these organs. Members of the House, our third point is legalizing the sale of human organs will benefit the economy and personal wealth. We are helping everyone in society, every single functioning member of society. Allowing organ trade may be the best interest of the people to capitalize on a product that is in high demand. By capitalizing a product that is in high demand, we are improving the lives of individuals and giving power to the people. Competition and capital accumulation incentivize businesses will maximize efficiency, which allows investors, the people, the donors, to capitalize on that growth and consumers to enjoy low prices on a wider range of, well, organs. Economic growth occurs lead with the legalization of the sale of human organs because innovation leads to higher
Points of
demand.
information.
Yes,
Who and how can we obtain the organs that you said will be doubled?
the people, the donors, and their donorees. Yes, I will continue, which then leads to more purchasing. Over time, this will lead to expansion, more jobs, and eventually more wealth for personal and public wealth. I will use Iran as an example, according to an article published by McGill Journal of Medicine in 2008. Iran has its own method for handling the demand. Starting in 1988, Iran began a program in which donors were compensated for giving up their organs, this removing the waiting list for kidney transplants. While this system is not perfect, it allows those in need of kidneys to gain access to them with relative ease and reduces the exploitation of the poor in countries like Pakistan, and Philippines. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the legalization of human organs will not only boost the economy, but also help reduce poverty problems as proven by Iran. There is no proof that the legalization of their human organs have caused any problems yet. Now, let me talk about how it benefits personal health. I've mentioned in my previous points that people who had their conditions worsened over time can no longer be eligible for organ transplants, right? So I will now elaborate how the people who face this issue will now need to have their health maintained on a consistent and regular basis and will need to constantly provide a steady stream of money to stay alive. But now that we are legalizing selling human organs, this problem no longer has to happen at the rate that it does. It saves the patients from spending more money than they should and protect and improve their lives for the long run. So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, our stand as the government is that we are doing this to protect the lives of our people. The opposition does not care about that at all and just chooses to let this problem fester. They acknowledge the existence of organ trafficking in black markets and do nothing to solve it. Unlike us, the government, we have provided a well thought out mechanism, arguments as to why it pertains to the saving of human lives and how it's still a dignified way to improve this community. With that, I would like to reaffirm our stand as the government, which is in this motion should be accepted because we believe it will save more lives in the long run. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we thoroughly agree with this motion. So, with this, I rest my case. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Ivory.
The time taken by Miss Iverly is 8 minutes and 13 seconds.
Mr. Chair, let's proceed. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to listen to the second opposition speaker, Ms. Nur Hidayah Abdullah.
I'll start in 3, 2, 1. We cannot despair of humanity, since we ourselves are human beings. No moral value is greater than humanity, and being human is given, but keeping our humanity is our choice. A very good morning to the honorable judges, cautious timekeeper, formidable opponents from the side of opposition, allied side of government, and to all members of this beautiful house. Here's how I structure my speech. First, I'm going to forward several rebuttals from the first and second speaker of the government side. Then I'm going to present two arguments, which is legalizing the sale of organs will reduce donation and increasing the financial gap. Before that, I want to tell members of this house that I stand firmly with the definition and stance by the opposition leader. Now, let's hear what the government side brought to us. They said that about black market. This is why government today is hallucinating and tone deaf. Here's the reason why black market is still enticing. They don't do medical assessment first, and second, anyone can donate tainted organ, unhealthy organ, even unhealthy person. Regulated organ selling require medical assessment, so the poor people who are desperate and most often sick, unfit, medically unhealthy due to malnourishment will still not be able to sell their organs under this regulated system. So black market reduction is not achieved by the government. So the problem is not solved. So the very people the government want to help never get help anyway. They also didn't reply to our PI and didn't explain for the second speaker. Is it the organs will be sold in high price or cheap price? The rest of my rebuttals will be in my arguments. Now let me start with my first arguments that legalizing the sale of organs will reduce donation. When people tend to sell their organs, they no longer want to donate because they said it will give more profits. But when you donate, such as blood donation, the government provide incentive. As example, they get free outpatient and medical treatment as wards at the government hospital or clinic. Decline. Not just when people sell their organs, they are vulnerable to risk their health, but even worse, they use the money to get treatment are also pricey. As example, to transplant a single lung, it costs 561,200 based on estimate as average treatment. This also why when the legalization of selling human organs will make the donation diminish. In addition, when you donate to others, you will get. In addition, when you donate to others, you will get the satisfaction, and it will also boost your and other people's morality and dignity, not forgetting ethics as well. I would like to add a little of spice in my arguments. Let me plug the way of thinking. When you donate your organs, the recipients of organ will be put in a waiting list. This will also gives them a light of hope that will make them receive it. But when the government support this motion, the recipients will receive none of it. Why? This happened because the rich people will buy it, and the poor people cannot. Yes, accepted.
You are aware of the statistics that the people who pledge to this organ donation higher than the rate of people who need organs, and yet the organs donated are not sufficient for the people. Please clarify.
And then why did you need to legalize the organ sale if the donation higher for and enough for everyone? And wait a second.
And instead of legalizing the organs, and we have this people fear for donation because they think something will happen in surgery or the transplant. But what the most thing that we need to do is to educate people that the doctors and hospital have the capability to make sure they are safe even they are having an accident or emergency. They will try as hard as they can to save their lives. That's why we need to educate people that donation is much more better than sell the organs. Next, let's move on to my second argument that the sale of organs will increasing the financial gap. If today's motion going to be legalized, will it be affordable or unaffordable? Let's just say the rich people can afford, but what about the poor people? Even the
Your mic is muted.
I'm sorry. Next, let's move on to my second argument that the sale of organs will increasing the financial gap. If today's motion going to be legalized, will it be affordable or unaffordable? Let's just say the rich people can afford, but what about the poor people? Even the organs right there in front of you, but when you don't have money, will it save lives? That's why we opposition going to support for organ donating because everyone have the equal chance to get organs in the same list. No discrimination when it comes to life saving. So when we legalize the organs, according to the Guardian in Iran, 70% of people that sell their organs are from the poor community. That's true that selling organs can get them a lot of money, but the financial gap between the poor people and rich people shouldn't be ignored when it comes for them getting organs when it gets sold. The poor people can sell, but they cannot buy. Even medical professionals like WHO acknowledge that the decline that the legalization will cause exploitation of the poor. This raises many others ethical implications regarding fairness. In such a market, many stakeholders who need organs may not get them. And I want to know if the government have a solution regarding this matter. Above that reason, I strongly believe that we should not legalize the sale of organs because we stand on human dignity should win over money. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nurhidayah.
The time taken by Ms. Nur Hidayah is 7 minutes and 26 seconds.
All right, we may proceed. Thank you.
I shall now call upon the third minister from the government, Ms. Dura Khadijah binti Rajali.
Am I audible?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I will start in 3, 2, 1. Thank you to our handsome chair speaker, and a very good morning I would like to bid to our honorable adjudicators, punctilious timekeeper, wise members of the government, worthy opponents of the opposition, and everyone present in this virtual meet that is held for us today. We are gathered here today to debate the motion that has been given to us, which is this House believes that we should legalize human organ sales. And our team stand as the government is that we agree with this statement because we are doing this to protect the lives of our people. Now, my duty as the third speaker of the government is that I will address the flaws made by the opposition, address all the POIs that have been given during this debate, and then I will rebut their points and rebut their rebuttals. I will strengthen the points of my team members. And lastly, I will reaffirm our stand regarding the motion that has been given today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. First of all, I would like to address the flaws that have been made by the opposition. Sadly and unfortunately, the opposition has misunderstood the motion that has been given to us today. They kept saying on and on about how we are excluding the option of donation when clearly that is not the motion that has been stated today. The motion is we should legalize human organ sales, not we should legalize human organ sales and ban donations. No, that is not the case. And yet they keep saying and stating that we are ignoring the fact that people are donating.
Point of information.
We are ignoring the fact that people are donating. And they're claiming that we are prohibiting these donations. No, incorrect. Yes?
You said earlier that to achieve this, you need to donate. So you are saying it's better to donate than selling?
Thank you for your lovely POI. Now I will clarify. Our Prime Minister has stated this in the mechanism. We acknowledge donators, we acknowledge donors and sellers. These are two different categories of people. One of the main arguments that we have presented during this debate is that these two people will help with the sufficiency of the supply. We want to double this supply so every single person who requires an organ get the transplants and treatment that they are needed. We want to save lives. That is our goal for today. Next, they have been ignoring our mechanism this whole time. They kept bringing up contradictions to what we have already said regarding the
points of information.
Regarding the poor and rich gap, we have already clearly stated this in our mechanism and they acknowledge it, and yet they still blatantly ignore the fact. Yes, please?
You know, don't you think the donated organs will be reduced if someone will just sell it? So what's the point of donating organs if we can just sell it?
Thank you for your lovely POI. Now, the selling of organs will not reduce the donations. And this is why donators still exist. There is a choice. We are not saying people are forced to sell their organs. They are encouraged to. We are only legalizing the human organ sales. And you did state that this mechanism does require more effort, and yet you still contradict yourself. But we do not think that is the case. We think that these two will be able to supply and rectify this insufficiency organ problem that we have. Now, I would like to rebut the points made by the second opposition speaker. I would like to rebut the rebuttals. She said that black market is caused by unregulated selling. Exactly. That is what we are trying to advocate for. These black markets and illegal sales only happens because it is not legalized. People don't have any other options. You acknowledge the black market, don't you, opposition? And yet you let this problem fester because you don't have an alternative. You don't have a solution to the poor people who can't afford these organs and to the people who desperately require these organs as soon as they possibly can. So the black market problem will not 100% be solved by our mechanism, but we will be able to decrease the rates, as we like to say, from 50 to 40, 30, 20, and one day 0. Next of all, she said something regarding reducing donations and boosting satisfaction. Ladies and gentlemen, they have gone on and on and on about human dignity. Where is the dignity in this? Satisfaction almost implies that they are doing this simply for the sake of image, right? Human dignity, as they have already defined before, consists of morality and ethics. Well, is it moral to let the black market fester? Is it moral to let the black market continue to exist when we have already provided a mechanism that can help decrease the rates of these illegal sales from happening? They said something about increasing the financial gap and something about poor people in Iran. 70% of poor people in Iran donated their organs. Ladies and gentlemen, our mechanism covers this. My first speaker has stated that The people who are poor, who have this financial disadvantage, will receive the donated organs. They will be a priority. And the people who are financially advantaged will be encouraged to buy these organs. Next, I would like to rebut the rebuttals made by the first opposition speaker. Again, they keep saying something about human dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, the opposition does not care about human lives. They care about the dignity, yes. They care about the morals and ethics, yes. But they do not care about quashing the black market. They do not care for providing the people who need
Point of
organs
information.
their organs. Yes?
What about alternatives such as importing finance and a study, equal distribution of health? Please clarify.
Thank you very much for your POI. I am saying that your alternatives you did not provide in your arguments, and you are not solving the case by only providing this alternative now. By legalizing human organs, we will be able to not only decrease the problem of poverty, but also the insufficiency of organs and the lives that are sacrificed from this problem that we face today. The first opposition speaker also said that it is a breeding ground for crime. Now, ladies and gentlemen, legalizing human organ sales disincentivizes the occurrence of these crimes itself. Because now that it is not illegal, people don't have to hide anymore. People don't have to commit crime. Black market is no longer a viable option for these people to go to. Now, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the opposition does not care for human lives. The opposition stresses on and on about dignity, about morality, and that is not the question. We want to save as many lives as we can because this is a staggering problem to let fester. Black market, that is concerning. Now, we care about this. And as the government, I would like to reaffirm our team's stand by saying this motion should be accepted because we are doing this to protect the lives of our people. With that, I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dura Khadija.
The time taken by Ms. Dura Khadija is 8 minutes and 4 seconds.
Okay, we may proceed. Thank you.
It is now time to listen to the rebuttals of the third opposition speaker, Ms. Nelsofrenia Redica Melancholico.
Can you hear me good?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Right is right, even if everyone is against it, and wrong is wrong, even if everyone is in for it. Assalamualaikum and good morning to the honorable panel of judges, precise timekeeper, members of the government side of the house, allies of the opposition, and everyone who is here today. Firstly, I'll clarify the context of the debate today and provide rebuttals. Secondly, I'll compare the case brought by both sides of the House and tell you why we understand the debate better. The government side of the House need to prove why we should agree with today's motion and why they want to legalize the sale of human organs. On the other hand, the opposition side of the House will provide on why we strongly oppose today's motion and how it will negatively impact the society. I'm going to move on to my rebuttals. First of all, the donated organs When you've said about the poor will get the donated organ and rich will need to buy. First of all, the donated organs will be reduced since the government have legalized selling organs. Then why would one donate their organs when they can sell it? It's very contradicting with what you are believing in. Yeah, you can choose to donate for free or to sell for money. Where would you tend to choose? Money. When the second speaker have said about you are not forcing them. If you're saying that you are not forcing them, okay, but you guarantee that people will not ignore ethics, like my first speaker have stated? You are not considering for those who is in the lower social life. I'll give you an example. If I give someone who's poor a seed to plant a tree or the fruits from the tree, they will choose the fruits from the tree because someone who is poor will only look forward on living in the next day. They don't think of a long-term thing like health out of desperation. Like my first speaker asked the first speaker before about whether the law they are proposing work. And guess what? The government side, of course, government side of the house will say yes. First of all, you need to think about amount of money it will take in order for the government to legalize this law. Even after knowing how much the government is in debt, then we can talk. Secondly, the government need to provide solutions after they legalize this law they came up with. Thirdly, they need to convince us whether they are prepared for the worst, which they failed to do, hence why we are not convinced at all with what they are proposing. Moving on, if you're trying to come up with reducing the amount of black markets, but just because we legalize it in our country, we legalize the law that you are proposing in our country does not mean we can also push other countries to legalize the law that you are proposing. With what the government side of the house don't know is that black markets will still exist in this world. Don't you think?
PLI, please.
Rejected. Will still exist in the world. Don't you think that people will still invest in the black markets from other countries? So if you want to reduce the amount of black markets, this is not the law that you should propose. Yes, accepted. I will accept your POI now.
You were implying that by legalizing that we would not solve this problem of black markets. So what? You choose to fester this problem? You let it fester? Is that what the opposition is advocating for? Please clarify.
No, what I am trying to say is with the law that you are proposing, it wouldn't lessen the amount of black markets that will still be available in this world. If you want to solve the problems that is regarding with the black markets, then propose a new law regarding the black markets. This will not solve the situation. Then we have millions and thousands of black markets outside of this world. So if the people cannot sell the illegally in the black markets in our country, then they would sell outside of our country. Okay, I'm going to continue. Furthermore, the government are being manipulative towards us. You're being manipulative towards the citizens. The government side of the house are trying to imply that they are greedy with money. This motion today is not because they want equality to help those people who are in lower social of life, but it is a monetary incentive in disguise. Just like a devil in disguise as an angel, it is manipulative in evil. Additionally, if you believe so much in equality of people, this is not the law that you should propose, because this motion today will give more benefits to the rich. Yes, it is beneficial for the poor because they can sell their organs, but you are normalizing humans to not have basic human dignities like my first speaker has stated. Not just that, if you believe that equality supports today's motion, then what about for those who cannot afford those organs? Not just that, you have the opposition side of the house are giving solid arguments and rebuttals. We provide solution, which is the nation which is educating about the nation, where people who are in the waiting list or poor have the chance to live for another day. Decline. Because this motion today that the government side of the house are proposing about legalizing the sale of organs are only beneficial with thick pockets. If you really do want to save more lives, do you only care about the rich? like my second speaker have stated clearly about the financial gap.
Your eye, please.
Not only we uphold the dignity of human lives and dignity of without jeopardizing human, we also solve the problem for the government today. We came up with solution without jeopardizing. We allow for more education. Yes, accepted.
Okay. You mentioned about the rich and the poor, whatever. Isn't that is a systematic failure of society? Do you acknowledge that? Can you clarify that, your point?
It is the systematic failure of the government. You are the one who make these tasks happens. It is your fault. So the government needs to find solutions about this. Where the government provides solutions for more towards the poor instead of just benefiting the rich, because this motion today is clearly benefiting the rich. If you don't see that, you are
Your
blind. Declined. If you wanna improve, the government, work on the economy, work on the welfare, stop corruption, and you'll get better. The fact that the government can save the actual problems, the government shouldn't let the people use themselves as a source of income. Okay, I'm gonna move on to comparatives. First of all, they are very tautological and very repetitive. Meanwhile, we have provide you solid arguments on why everyone should oppose today's motion, and they failed to convince on why we should agree that today's debate shall belong to their side of the house. And they have monetary incentive in disguise as wanting to help those in lower social of life, even though it is to benefit the rich. This motion today will bring more harm than good, since the government side of the house did not convince us what will happen is for the better or for the worse. Even though something good is gonna happen, we can't dismiss the fact that they need to prepare for the worst, and human will evolve into something even worse. Our stance is very simple, which is we believe that human dignity wins over money. Human dignity needs to be normalized among the society. Human dignity is for the win. Therefore, why we need to oppose today's motion together to protect each other from the worst, and why the opposition side of the house needs to take today's debate. A government that allows their people to give up their organs is a failed government. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Melsafrenia.
The time taken by Miss Mel Safrenia is 8 minutes and 37 seconds.
Now that we have heard all three speakers from both teams, we shall take a short break of 3 minutes. During this time, both the government and the opposition team will prepare the reply speech. The audience is requested to keep quiet during this time. The time of 3 minutes has ended. I shall now invite the opposition leader from the opposition, Mr. Nofaiz Kashfijusit, to make his reply speech.
Test. Am I audible?
Loud and clear.
1, 2, 3. Not only is this the last speech you will be hearing for today's debate, but this is also the reason why we as the opposition needs to win today's debate. So pay close attention because that side sadly did not do that. My reply speech will be divided into two. One, why they are wrong. Two, why we are right. Hence, we will prove to you why we win today's debate. We think the major thing or situation you need to understand is that we, as the opposition, are only trying to prove that dignity of money are real. We already stated the gap that will happen. We want all of the members of this beautiful house know that the fact we want the best for the human being. Their side is wanting the same mistake happen again. As what I've said earlier, human as cost commodity, as a thing you can put a price tag for. We don't want to do that. And they are still saying that we are not the one who want the best for human being. Come on, government. I thought you could do better. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning once again to the experienced judges and everyone present here today. First, they are trying to be positive and trying to make all of us have a mind-boggling situation. They are also speaking in a bubble with many fillers, but not the important point. Because of what? Because they are evolving. Only the third speaker is wanting to be like us. Let me explain this further, okay? Moving on, why they are wrong. First of all, they are really invasive and trying to manipulate our mind. I asked earlier, will the price be low or high? The first speaker passed my point of information to the second speaker. And at the end, she didn't even say, will the price be low or high? So we can't really engage with it. And I asked to the cheerful third speaker, what about alternative? She said, you can't even do the solution. We as the opposition. But she forgets that she is a government. Why can't government do better than this? Because they can't. The government said we need to donate. But they are hallucinating. They want to be us, especially the third speaker. Their problem is lack of organs. So we increase donation education. They are forgetting the government roles that they are supposed to do. Government should do better at managing and distribute wealth and welfare. I'm talking this as an opposition, and maybe this will help them because maybe they don't know. Who knows? To every government roles also, uh, they need to let them have the resort to selling organs. They clearly dismissed and didn't understand and don't want to answer what we want to talk about. Next, why we are right. First of all, we clearly and confidently stated our arguments that are clashing with their sides. Why do we analyze the status for better? Legalizing sale of organ will not help the poor people who are often medically unfit to sell organ. Legalizing sale of organ will hurt those who are already waiting for donation because now donors may choose to sell now. Who wants to, I repeat, who wants to donate if you can sell, if you can get that money? And they are trying to say it's better to donate when they are supposed to follow to this motion. That is, they need to sell but not donate. They are hallucinating, ladies and gentlemen. Legalizing sale of organs widens society gaps and widen society gaps and open for exploitation by the rich. That is a sad truth, ladies and gentlemen. Today's debate goes to the people that knows the difference between what's good and what's not. Today's debate goes to the people that know why we are protecting for the humanity. Today's debate goes to the people that know what is the truth and what's not. Today's debate, at the end of the day, shall go to our side, the opposition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nofaiz.
The time taken by Mr. Nur Faiz Kashri is 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
All right, let's hear the last speech. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I shall now call upon the Prime Minister from the government team, Ms. June Jaime Jimmy, to give her reply speech.
Greetings, Chairperson, honorable adjudicators, wise timekeeper, opponents, my teammates, and members of the floor. We, the government team, once again reaffirm our team stand. We are doing this. We agree with the motion because we want to protect the lives of our people. Now, the common question between us, the government, and the opposition is between the preservation of human dignity and the preservation of human life. Human lives. Ladies and gentlemen, morality and human dignity is not black and white, but human lives are. Human lives only have death and life. We, the government, are more concerned about the lives that are being taken because of the lack of this law being legalized. That is why we agree with the motion given today. Let's entertain the opposition and say that you can preserve your dignity by not selling, but a desperate and sickly recipient cannot survive by not receiving an organ. Time and time again, they feign concern for the issues that occur in Iran and the lack of donations and the spreading of the black market, but they never do anything at all. It is prevalent in their team stand. They prioritize human dignity over monetary compensation, but also they prioritize dignity over human lives. Is that really dignity? Is that moral? No. We acknowledge that this is not a utopia like the opposition is claiming, and we know that it will cost sacrifice to save human lives. If we could regrow limbs or heal damaged organs, if the world had enough technology, had enough supply of organs, then we would agree with the opposition. Except in this world, realistically, it doesn't. Now, at the end of the day, human lives can be saved. The journey is irrelevant when the destination can literally preserve lives. Can the opposition take responsibility for not disagreeing with the motion? As we can see, ladies and gentlemen, throughout this whole debate, the opposition team has never proven how our mechanism is impractical. All they've been doing is pointing out problems after problems. But these problems, we have already addressed them, ladies and gentlemen. We have addressed them in our first speech, in which we explained to you our mechanism. They've been talking about black market. They've been talking about the gap between the rich and the poor. They've been talking about economy. But haven't we already addressed all of that? Ladies and gentlemen, they haven't been listening to us. Now, as the Prime Minister of the side government, we have already proved to you, we have given you our mechanisms. We are looking at the bigger picture. They are saying we are unrealistic when we have clearly stated that we acknowledge all the problems that they have brought up. They haven't been listening to us. They keep bringing up these problems, saying that they haven't given us any proof that our mechanism is impractical. Now, they are saying all these problems, and we know that these problems originate from the status quo. And this proves how the status quo is supposed, and we need to change the status quo. Now, who brings about this change? It is us, clearly. They haven't provided any alternatives. We, the government, on the other hand, have been proposing, have been giving new mechanisms, have been thinking about possibilities. We have been thinking about possibilities, and that is proven through how we have thought out our mechanism properly, and we have taken precautions in our mechanism. The opposition, on the other hand, never addressed the fact that this should change. They've been bringing up problems, but they haven't been giving any alternatives. All they've been doing is saying no to our mechanisms when they can't prove how it's impractical. Clearly, their view is limited to human dignity. We, ladies and gentlemen, consider many real things in lives, and we, as the government, care about people's lives. Now, once again, as side government, we stand by our team stand, which is we are doing this to protect the lives of our people. Now, clearly, we have the advantage in this debate, ladies and gentlemen. That is why we, the government team, should win today's debate. And with that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. June.
The time taken for the reply speech by Miss June Jayumi is 4 minutes and 26 seconds.
We have now come to the end of the debate. This debate will be won by the team which scores the highest ballots and scores from the adjudicators. We will now permit the adjudicators to leave the competition room for the deliberation of best debaters and also to tabulate scores for both teams. As to determine which team will be the winner of today's debate. Adjudicators, please.
Thank you. We'll be back afterwards.
How's everybody feeling? Good job, all of you. Good job.
You too.
Oh, thank you. First time today. So. If you need to take a break, if you need to go somewhere to the toilet or anything, now's the time. We just wait for the adjudicators to come back. You can do your own thing with that. Also, feel free to turn on your mics and speak to each other. Maybe is this the first time you guys are meeting?
Yeah, it is.
Maybe take time to just get to know each other.
Is this your first time debating? Guys, girls, I mean,
me.
no, you. I mean, our opponents.
No, not really. We had district level and we had this like last year.
Our first time. We are first timers.
Whoa, wow, what?
Wow, and you guys
Oh my god. How?
Apa ni tiba?
Oh,
I memang disuruh.
you guys seem so professional. Oh my god.
Accept. You guys too.
and you guys done so pretty, you know?
Slay.
Oh, it's so pretty.
You
guys are very good.
Is anyone checking the YouTube link? Because if you see the comments there, it's quite.
Yeah, my friends are screenshotting everything.
This is live streaming.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. My mom is gonna be so disappointed.
Why?
And I will sell it. I know.
Don't think that way. I mean, your parents should be proud that you are here.
Yes.
Any of you guys from 5? Whoa. From 2 quarter. What? Ulan?
Sorry, next one.
Both of us are Form 5. We met.
Oh, okay.
Form 2.
Is there anyone from 4?
Oh, Faiz. Our first speaker.
Hey, hi.
How was it?
Oh, Form 4 assembly.
Hey.
You guys might be seeing each other next year. You're still here next year.
Can we actually check our phone? Boleh ba kan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, don't ask.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, you can do it off screen.
Habis sudah kan?
Jangan excited.
Of your screen.
All right, everyone, we will continue in a moment. Please be ready.
yet.
Before we start, I would like to ask everyone to turn off their mics. Thank you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite the State Technical Director for English Parliamentary Debate, Mr. Eric Constantine, to announce the results of winning team.
All right, good morning to the government team and also to the opposition team. Well done and congratulations to the final round. And once again, thank you very much to Mr. Farouz, our chairperson for the final round, and as well our amazing judges. We have 9 judges from 9 different districts. And I'm very sure that all of you are pretty excited to know the result, isn't it? So just to inform before we proceed to the announcement of the result, make sure that you give your best your emotions and your cheers, whether you lose or whether you win. This is the moment that all of you have been working hard for this final round. Are you ready, debaters? Now let me just read the motion, yeah? The motion for the final round: this house would legalize the sale of human organs. Ching, ching, ching. This house would legalize the sale of human organs is accepted. Unmute, everyone, unmute. All right. Which means that DPD Kota Baru Team 2, you are the winner for the final round of Sabah State Level Parliamentary Debate. Well done and congratulations. And of course, to our first runner-up goes to PPD Keningau SMK Suk. Well done. And of course, the best debater. All judges have deliberated and agreed. Best debater goes to Dura Khadija Rajeli from PPD Kota Baru Team 2, mixed team. Well done.
Congratulations.
All right, so we will have a different session for the team after this, yeah? Just to give you pointers from the judges. So once again, congratulations to the winner, PPD Kota Baru Team 2, mixed team, and the first runner-up, PPD Keningau Team 2, SMK Suk. I think for this, it's quite amazing to see the underdogs, because everyone thought like maybe this team could win to the final round. But I think for this year, when we skip district level, we have 34 teams for this year. And I think it's not an easy task for the judges as well. But I think your teachers, your coaches, they've been working very hard to ensure that all of you gain this experience. This is invaluable experience, especially when you are able to meet more than maybe 10 teams from your districts. But this is like a big event for all of us. So for next year, we're not very sure, but I think for this year, when you took the challenge to be here in the state level, I think it's a good job for everyone. I think when your teachers or your coaches, in a way, keep trying to persuade you to join this debate competition, I know it's not easy, but there's a lot of rooms to be improved for all the debaters. And I hope that from today's experience, and of course, for those debaters out there, we're still getting the feedbacks from the judges to select probably best 5 and also best 10 debaters to represent Sabah. And national level will be next month. That will be like about 2 weeks plus. Okay, from today onwards. Yeah, I think about 23rd of July. But I hope those debaters who are willing to take the next challenge to go to the national level. I'm very sure I can see that face like oh, I want to go to national level. It's not about winning or losing because I've seen national level and judging national level, and even some judges here, they are very experienced judges as well. When it comes to judging, it's not easy. At the end of the day, your job is to convince the judges, and whether you're government opposition, at the end of the day, whether you play your role to convince them. So it's the same goal when you go to the next round, national level. All right. So to the debaters out there, keep it up, keep improving. Do ask the technical director from your districts and also your coaches to improve. So once again, all the debaters, can you just give a round of applause to the judges for their amazing job? Yeah. So I'm very happy once again. Thank you very much. And of course, all this will be part of the recording, which we'll be using for the closing ceremony. And of course, I did inform the chairperson. I think I just informed from here to the audience out there. The closing ceremony will be done only by next week. Supposedly, I should keep the result until next week, but of course, this is like anticlimax to all the debaters, yeah. But I think with this result, the expressions that they have shown to the audience will be used in the closing ceremony video. So once again, well done to Kota Balloon for winning this debate competition. I think for many years, I think after a decade, I've not seen Kota Balloon grabbing this champion trophy. So next week, you should be able to get your trophy. Yeah, I think pretty big trophy from PPD Ranau. Once again, thumbs up to PPD Ranau. PPD Ranau and Jawatan Kuasa Pengelola. You guys did an amazing job. Even when I was looking at the live streaming, the banners, everything was superb. So well done to PPD Ranau. It's not easy, but I think for next year we are not very sure yet. But if KPM announced whether we are going to have physical debate, so that will be another challenge. Yeah. Okay. So I would like to hand over back this to our chairperson. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Fairuz. Thank you, debaters, and thank you, judges. Well done.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Eric Constantine. Once again, thank you to all of our honorable adjudicators, both government and opposition teams, coaches, fellow audience, and especially our State Technical Director for English Parliamentary Debate, Mr. Eric. With that, the House of Parliament is adjourned. Thank you. May I ask everyone to turn on their cams so that I can take a screenshot? Oh, a lot of people have left already. Hold on, yeah. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, if anyone else wants to take a screenshot, go ahead. Give us the cue. Just turn on your mics. Okay, you may all leave the room if you want to. If you want to take a lot more pictures, go ahead. I'll just keep the room open for now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Great job.
Thanks,
Congratulations to
guys.
all of
Educators.
you.
Good job, both teams.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Amazing work.
Bye.
Time, etc. Mr. Eric,
Yeah,
our PT.
congratulations,
All
Paul.
right. All right. Well
KB,
done.
I'm very proud of you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
I am from KB. Boleh ba?